Some mornings, I wonder if we've traded steady or scattered. These days, we're told that being busy is normal, but what if it isn't? We're told that mornings should be efficient. Grab, go, move on. But this morning, scraping the bottom of the pot, I couldn't help but wonder, maybe it's not just time we've traded. Maybe there's something worth keeping in the slowness and letting things take their time. Now, not every morning looks like this for us, and maybe that's your season too. I still work part-time as a nurse, and a few days a week, our mornings are not as slow or peaceful as I would hope for. A quick breakfast and we go. But even then, I found having a rhythm to return to makes all the difference. It steadies the weeks that feel scattered because I know there's something waiting here when the rush is over. Not so long ago, mornings began around the stove with the smell of something simple filling the house. Just nourishing food, the whole house slowly waking up, children waiting at the table. We don't call that normal anymore, but maybe we should. On this particular morning, our simple go-to breakfast was oatmeal. Nothing special. It's not the kind of breakfast that gets people excited like a pan of sourdough cinnamon rolls. But around here, oatmeal just works. It's warm, filling, cheap, and easy to dress up. Or not. Most mornings, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I just need something that comes together fast, keeps everyone full, and doesn't leave me with a sink full of dishes. A pot of oats does that. Nothing groundbreaking, just dependable in the best way. There's comfort in a meal that's always been there. My mom made it, and her mom did too. And now I stir the same pot for my kids. While the house is still quiet, knowing it'll be ready when little feet start down the stairs. Perfection isn't the goal. A quiet rhythm, a full belly, and a little peace. That's what I'm after. Some mornings that means sourdough pancakes or eggs from the backyard chickens. Other days it's just oatmeal, maybe with a splash of cream and some cinnamon if we're feeling fancy. And really, what more are we looking for? Maybe the real question is, when did we start believing it had to be more? Not every reset has to be a project. Sometimes it's just stepping outside and seeing what's already here. The dahlias are blooming, the grass is wet underfoot. It's quiet out here, just the hum of morning and the kind of beauty that doesn't ask to be noticed. These flowers won't last long. A few more weeks and the frost will take them. And maybe that's what makes them feel like a gift. I found that when I take a minute to look up, to really look, I notice more. A breeze through the kitchen window, the sound of the kids playing in the other room, a jar of flowers on the table that reminds me to pause. Resets don't always come from doing more. Sometimes they come from paying attention to what's already enough. In the fall, I always circle back to soup. There's something about the cooler weather that makes you crave those meals that simmer low and slow, when the kitchen smells like garlic and herbs and the stove stays warm for hours. But more than that, soup just makes sense. It's one of the most economical meals I can make. A pound of sausage and some beans, stretch with broth, some carrots and onions, maybe a few herbs, and suddenly there's dinner for the whole family. Most times enough for tomorrow too. It's not complicated, and it doesn't require a trip to the store. Usually I'm pulling what I already have, a few garden leftovers and tired vegetables from the bottom of the fridge drawer. Over the years, I've come to rely on soup as one of the most practical tools in the kitchen. It stretches protein further than anything else I could cook. Just a little meat, and no one misses the rest. I almost always double the pot. If I'm already chopping and stirring, I might as well freeze half for later. That second pot has saved dinner more times than I can count on busy weeks. Vegetables that are past their prime still have a place here. Cabbage, celery, carrots, even a scoop of rice or a handful of old pasta can turn it into something that sticks to your ribs. And if there's stale bread on the counter, I'll toast it up and spread some garlic butter or make grilled cheese sandwiches. And added to a bowl of soup, it feels like a full, nourishing meal. Soup is one of those meals that works with you, not against you. It's low effort, low waste, and somehow still feels special when it's on the table. It fills the house and brings everyone in. And maybe that's the kind of rhythm we need more of in the kitchen and in life. Steady, generous, and rooted. I've been working here and there in the little pockets of time I have to get more of my heirloom, heritage-inspired recipes up on my blog, ourhomeandheritage.com. And if you'd like me to send them, along with weekly seasonal tips and ideas, you can join my newsletter. I'll leave those links below for you. I've also been quietly working on resetting other old-fashioned rhythms around our home. Every fall, I keep seeing the same old message. New bins, new planners, new systems to get your life in order. But over the years, I found that the reset I trust most doesn't come from buying more. It comes from letting go. One drawer, one cabinet, one shelf. A few minutes spent clearing off a surface, wiping it clean, making just a little more room to breathe. That's what helps my home feel lighter. Not perfect, just a little quieter. 15 minutes here and there is usually all it takes. I'll wipe things down as I go, and the scent of clean wood, even that alone, makes the space feel calmer. I like to rotate seasonal dishes too. Soup bowls come down front this time of year, tucked where I can grab them without reaching or rearranging. Just small changes, but they make a difference in the rhythm of the day. It doesn't look like much, a bare shelf, a quiet corner, one less thing in the way, but I found that peace tends to settle in those spaces we clear, not the ones we fill. Sometimes caring for a home means doing less. Removing the extra, not managing more of it. And maybe order isn't something we have to chase or organize. Maybe it's what naturally rises to the surface when we finally stop holding on to so much. There's something about a roast that just feels like fall. That first sizzle when it hits the pan, the way garlic and herbs start to fill the kitchen. It's simple, but it makes the whole house feel cared for, even if you only spent a few minutes at the stove. I used to make roasts in an old pressure cooker that belonged to my grandma, the kind with the jiggling weight on top that you had to keep an ear on. It wasn't fancy, but it did its job. A few months ago, I finally upgraded to a newer one. It's quieter and easy to use, but part of me still misses the sound of that little weight tapping away on the stovetop. And while a roast is always a good meal the first night, the part I really love is how far it goes. Day one, we eat it just like she did, with potatoes, carrots, maybe a little pan gravy if there's time. Day two, I slice what's left and tuck it into sourdough sandwiches. And by day three, the bones and scraps go into a pot with whatever's in the fridge to make broth. I freeze it in jars and use it for soup later in the week. I've started saving little bags of shredded roast in the freezer too. Just enough to throw into a quick hash or soup when the day gets away from me, which it does more often than not. If we don't have home-raised meat on hand, I try to grab a roast when it's on sale. The cheaper cuts, chuck, shoulder, even pork butt, always turn out tender after a slow cook or pressure cycle. You don't need anything fancy, just time, salt, and something to cook it in. Our great-grandparents never called it meal planning or batch cooking. They just called it using what they had, nothing wasted, one meal leading into the next without a second thought. That's what I think about when I make a roast. It's not just dinner, it's part of the rhythm that keeps a home going. A little effort up front, and you're halfway to the next meal. It doesn't have to be perfect. Our great-grandparents never thought of food as a one-time thing. Leftovers weren't leftovers. They were part of the plan. A roast became sandwiches, bones became broth, scraps went to the chickens or the garden. Nothing was wasted, and nothing felt wasted. These days, we have more options than we ever did, maybe too many. And sometimes I wonder if peace doesn't come from having all the choices, but from choosing a few good, faithful things and letting those carry us through. We build our days on ordinary things. Dinner in the oven, shoes by the door, a rhythm that works quietly in the background. But day by day, they shape the feel of a home, steady, lived in, and full of care. Simple meals, simple resets, simple rhythms, the kind that used to be normal. But somewhere along the way, we thought new would be better. So maybe finding joy and peace in an old-fashioned reset is what we really need. Until next time, friend.